Hello, everyone. Have you ever heard this profound saying that as soon as the words are spoken, they become what the student heard and not what the teacher meant? Research shows that up to 60% of the intended message can be lost or altered during verbal communication. That being the case, how can the students be sure that they are grasping the true meaning of any teachings? More importantly, what can the students do to grasp the true meaning of their teachings? This is the topic of our discussion today as we dive deeper into the understanding of vibration. Before we proceed, please watch videos number 17 through 24 to fully grasp the context of this chapter. Remember, all our chapters are sequentially numbered and listed on YouTube as a playlist. For those who have read the book Ask and It Is Given, the emotional guidance scale found on page 114 is one of the profound tools that we appreciate the most about the teachings of Abraham Hicks. This scale is truly a masterpiece. In our home, we hold this scale in such a high regard that we've placed it in multiple spots, ensuring that it is a constant reminder for us. This scale features 22 levels, ranking human emotions by their vibrational frequency, from highest to lowest. At the top, number 1 represents the highest vibration emotions: joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. At the bottom, number 22 captures the lowest vibration emotions like fear, grief, depression, despair, and powerlessness. I will not show a copy of that scale here, as it is copyrighted material, but I would suggest you obtain a legal copy for your reference. Let me explain how we approach this scale. We view it as representing 22 separate vibrational zones, buckets, islands, or levels. Throughout this chapter, I will use these terms interchangeably. Imagine every human being on Earth being divided among these separate vibrational islands. At any given moment, each person belongs to one of these vibrational islands, which profoundly influences every aspect of their lives, shaping their situations, circumstances, events, experiences, preferences, and interactions with others. From the moment we are born and take our first breath to the moment we take our last, we belong to one of these islands. Some islands are incredibly joyful, while others are less so. The island we occupy is determined by our vibrational projection, which, as discussed in the previous chapter, we have complete control over. When we take our last breath, we return to Island 0, the place from which we originated and to which we return. This is what we refer to as the non-physical. We project from this island at birth and return to it at life's end. Island 0 is our true home. With that in mind, let's review this simplified story of Ben and Bianca to better understand how these islands impact our lives. Ben chose to come forth into the physical world, intentionally selecting his life theme to be more challenging than most. When we are at home on Island 0 and choose to be born as a human being, we have the freedom to choose the general theme of our lives. It is very much like choosing the difficulty level in a video game before we start playing. So, Ben opted for a higher difficulty level because that's how he wanted to play his video game of life. That being the case, he was born to parents that operated at a lower vibration level of anger for majority of their lives. In other words, he was born on vibrational island number 17, where the dominant culture of the island is anger. Another way to describe it is that Ben chose the difficulty level 17 for his video game of life. Around the same time, Bianca also chose to come forth and play the video game of life on a much easier level of 5, which is optimism. Therefore, She was born to optimistic parents on a vibrational island number 5, where the dominant culture is optimism. Now, draw your attention to these terms: current vibration and default vibration. Our current vibration is the vibration we are emitting at any given moment. This vibration can shift from one moment to the next. For instance, if we watch a movie with a happy ending and feel joy, our current vibration is one of joy. On the other hand, if we watch a scary movie and react with fear, our current vibration shifts to fear. These fluctuations in our current vibration happen constantly throughout the day. Our default vibration, however, is a different matter. Our default vibration is the overall vibrational zone we naturally and consistently return to under normal daily circumstances. This difference between current and default vibration is similar to heart rate versus resting heart rate. For example, when we are active, running around or playing, our heart rate fluctuates frequently to match the activity, just like our current vibration. But when we are at rest, it slows down to a consistent rate, known as our resting heart rate, which is similar to our default vibration. While both of these vibrations play a role in what manifests in our lives, there are some key differences. Our default vibration acts like the underlying manager that shapes our life experiences, while our current vibration acts like a compass needle indicating our current vibrational direction. What manifests in our life and what resonates with us is greatly influenced by our default vibration. This is the vibration that has solidified with momentum gathered over time, resulting in a strong ability to attract matching vibrations. It is important to understand this key point because we are not teachable unless we develop a deep understanding of our default vibration. As we move forward in our story, this concept will become clearer. For Ben, being on island number 17 means by default he will be surrounded by situations, circumstances, events, experiences, and people that represent the dominant culture of anger. In his own home, he was surrounded by parents, frequently stressed out and angry over having to care for him, and would argue and fight routinely. Therefore, Ben learned to mimic those vibrations, and over time, his default vibration solidified to anger. Bianca, on the other hand, had a very different experience. Her parents were overjoyed at having such a precious child in their lives that there was a surge of enthusiasm in them. They were so eager to provide a better future for Bianca that her father quit his job and started a roofing business. Bianca learned to mimic those vibrations, and over time, her default vibration solidified at level 3, which represents enthusiasm. It is like she was born on the island of optimism and then moved up to an even better island of enthusiasm. Ben and Bianca happened to attend the same high school, and one year they found themselves in the same class sitting next to each other. They found each other physically attractive, and that attraction led to a desire to connect with each other. Normally, the universe doesn't align people from two different vibrational islands, but if both individuals have a strong enough desire to connect, it can certainly happen. So, they started spending time together, learning more about each other. This is where things got interesting. Here we have two people from two different islands beginning to realize just how different they are. Needless to say, the attraction did not last long. Let me give you some general examples of the vibrational differences that got in the way of their relationship. Bianca gravitates towards music that is soothing to the soul, created by artists who channel during their creative process. In contrast, Ben is drawn to music that has a more aggressive and abrasive feel to it. To Ben, Bianca's music feels dull, sleepy, and disconnected from the reality of life, while Bianca finds Ben's music unsettling, feeling the lower vibrations it carries. Their taste in entertainment further highlights their differences. Bianca enjoys uplifting fantasy films with happy endings, while Ben prefers intense dramas that evoke anger and rage. Bianca is health conscious, favoring vibrant sattvic foods, whereas Ben opts for opposite of her choices. Bianca is naturally drawn to practices like meditation, yoga, and breathwork, while Ben dismisses these practices as strange. While Bianca embraces curiosity without any strong opinions, Ben is locked into rigid, unyielding opinions regarding most topics. While Bianca seeks out inspirational content on the internet, Ben delves deep into the controversial and disturbing topics. Once, Bianca shared a channeled video message from a non-physical entity, and Ben was furious, dismissing it as gullible woo-woo nonsense. Let's examine what happened when Ben watched that video. When that non-physical entity spoke, they communicated from level 0, the purest vibrational state. However, when Ben, whose default vibration is at level 17, watched that video, he struggled to process the information as intended. That is because each vibrational level between 0 and 17 acts as a filter of resistance, distorting and diminishing the message as it passes through the resistance. By the time the information reaches Ben, it has been filtered 17 times, leading to significant loss. This is why studies show that up to 60% of the information can be lost in verbal communication. For Ben, understanding that message is like trying to see a complete puzzle with 60% of the pieces missing. This is why the saying goes, as soon as the words are spoken, they become what the student heard, not what the teacher meant. In other words, Ben's default vibration at level 17 also means that he lacks the neural network necessary to fully grasp the information from level 0. You might wonder, if Ben is losing 60% of the information, is he still receiving the remaining 40%? In Ben's case, the answer is no, because being furious is an indicator that he was triggered by the message. This is crucial to understand. When someone is triggered, they are caught in a conflict between their conditioned beliefs and the new information that they are attempting to process, making it very difficult to correctly interpret not only the new information, but also the guidance from their inner being about that new information. This means that Ben's inner being did recognize the immense value in the message and signaled Ben accordingly. However, Ben's ability to comprehend that signal at vibrational level 17 is almost non-existent. Every person receives guidance from their inner being, regardless of the vibrational island they are on. However, their ability to accurately interpret that guidance depends entirely on the vibrational island they occupy. Bianca can understand the guidance way more accurately than Ben. Isn't that important to understand? Now let's move on to the next important understanding. Had Ben not been triggered, he might have been able to absorb that 40% of the message and potentially benefit from it. What do I mean by potentially benefit from it? Technically, a message from level 0 resonates across all levels because it is recognized by the inner being. However, even when it doesn't trigger someone, The true meaning can still get lost based on how it is interpreted on different islands. The same exact words can carry vastly different meanings depending on the island. Take the phrase follow your bliss, for example. For Bianca, it might mean turning on some feel-good music and dancing, while for Ben, it could mean engaging in underage drinking and driving. This difference is crucial to understand. On Island 17, where Ben resides, underage drinking and driving feels like bliss. The concept of bliss is not only different for Ben and Bianca, but it can also lead to wildly different outcomes. Think of Soni, who finds bliss in writing in her journals, while others may find it tedious, depending on their island. Look at Warren Buffett. At age 94, he still goes to work reading what many would consider boring financial statements all day long. But on his island, crunching numbers is his version of bliss. Do you understand what I'm pointing out here? Our reality is intentionally designed this way to create a deeply authentic, immersive, realistic, and diverse experience on every island. This is a good moment to highlight something you may have already noticed. Throughout our sessions, Soni consistently operates in source mode, while I provide interpretations from my human perspective to further clarify what source is communicating. We do this to ensure the message resonates across various vibrational levels, making it available to a wider audience. Those who are sensitive tuners of vibrations already know that I record these videos at different vibrational levels for the same reason. So, is Ben stuck with his island for the rest of his life? Let's continue our story to find out. Things took a sharp turn just as Ben finished high school and his parents tragically passed in a car accident, leaving him behind alone without any money. Soon, Ben found himself homeless, hungry, and desperate for survival. The remarkable thing about hitting rock bottom is that it generally shatters the ego, making individuals far more open, receptive, and teachable. Being in survival mode also has a way of clarifying and intensifying one's desires. For Ben, his cry for an improved situation was stronger than ever. His longing for food and shelter consumed him, his focus so intense and steady that his current vibration became like a powerful laser beam, signaling his desires to the universe, and the universe responded in kind to that vibrational signal. It is worth noting that when we hold our current vibration steady for a long enough period with a strong enough intensity, our default vibration shifts to match that current vibration. That is one of the methods of moving through vibrational islands. Right around this time, Bianca's father happened to be searching for a reliable, long-term employee, someone who can handle the harsh conditions of the roofing business. Their desires aligned perfectly, and the universe knew that. The moment Bianca's father saw Ben on a sidewalk holding a sign that said, "Will work for food," he felt an immediate pull, recognizing Ben as the potential solution to his need. After hearing Ben's heartbreaking story, he not only offered Ben a job, but also arranged a temporary place for him to stay until he could get back on his feet. This act of kindness was something Ben had never experienced, not even from his own parents. In gratitude, Ben poured himself into the work, going above and beyond with every task. His dedication and hard work paid off, and within a few years, He rose to become the manager of the entire roofing operation. Additionally, Ben's deep sense of gratitude and respect for Bianca's father made him incredibly receptive to learning from him. Under his mentorship, Ben not only mastered the roofing business, but also mimicked his way of thinking and being. This shift in mindset elevated Ben's default vibration, lifting him to island number 6, where hopefulness is the dominant culture. As someone moves closer to island 0, life becomes increasingly effortless. For those who reside within the first 7 islands, things naturally fall into place. If they also possess skills that are valued in the physical world, it is an added bonus that will virtually guarantee a superior experience. Ben was finally in that position. Around this time, Bianca returned home with her MBA after being away for college. Instead of looking for a job, she decided to apply her education to grow the family business. On her first day at work, she was very surprised to discover that Ben, that her father praised all these years, was the same Ben she was attracted to in high school. As they reconnected, their bond deepened, and the old physical sparks between them ignited once more. This time around, Ben was a vibrationally changed man. Reuniting with Bianca stirred new desires within him, filling him with hope for a second chance at building something lasting together. As they worked side by side, their relationship blossomed. Ben admired Bianca's grace and sophistication, while Bianca was captivated by his street smarts and unwavering work ethic. Together, they expanded the business nationwide, turning their shared vision into a thriving success. From this harmonious place, their desires seamlessly aligned, and before they knew it, they fit together like perfect puzzle pieces. Bianca's parents were overjoyed to witness their love flourish, and they happily blessed the union as the couple tied the knot. Soon after, they welcomed beautiful children into their lives and lived happily ever after on their new vibrational island of joy, knowledge, empowerment, freedom, love, and appreciation. The beauty of this story lies in the fact that everyone has the potential to ascend the vibrational islands, no matter where their journey begins. There are many important lessons embedded in this simplified story of Ben and Bianca. Therefore, review it a few times to truly capture all the key elements. It is clear from my own journey that I also chose to play this game of life on a hard level. As a young homeless boy, standing on the brink of ending it all, I still remember what it felt like to be on island number 22. But since then, I have slingshot my way to where I am today, and I have a message for anyone out there playing the game of life on a hard level. Just like Ben, when you hit rock bottom, that's the moment of your greatest power, where the ego can shatter, resistance can crumble, and if it does, then you are presented with a rare opportunity to slingshot yourself to a much better island. And here is the beautiful truth. Those who slingshot get to appreciate life on a whole another level. It is so much more enjoyable to slingshot than to be born into ease. Dining at a Michelin-starred restaurant is way more delicious when you remember the days of surviving on microwaved meals. Flying on a private jet becomes an entirely different experience after you've endured long, cramped, red-eye flights in economy seats. And riding a Rolls-Royce Sweptail feels profoundly luxurious when you've spent years commuting by public transportation. And that, by the way, is the core reason we choose to come forth to play this incredibly immersive game of life. While Island Zero is pure bliss, staying in that state for eternity can actually feel limiting, like eating your favorite meal every day for the rest of time. Many of us choose to play on harder levels because it makes the journey of rising through the levels that much more rewarding. And even if we don't manage to conquer every level in this lifetime, the moment we take our last breath, we slingshot right back to Island Zero, which, by the way, is nothing short of euphoric. Remember that. Always. That's it for this chapter. May the Source be with you and have a fantastic day.
This publication is protected by U.S. and international copyright laws with all rights reserved. It is free to share and only personal, non-commercial use in its original form without any edits is allowed. For commercial use permit, visit SonyMattandSource.com. No part of this publication may be reproduced by any mechanical, photographic, or electronic process, or in the form of a phonographic recording, nor may it be stored in a retrieval system, transmitted, or otherwise be copied for public or private use, other than for fair use as brief quotations embodied in articles and reviews without prior written permission of the publisher. The creators of this publication do not dispense medical advice or prescribe the use of any technique as a form of treatment for physical or medical problems without the advice of a physician, either directly or indirectly. Any information in this publication is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Consult your physician before beginning any diet, nutrition, or fitness plan or lifestyle changes. The intent of the creators is only to offer information of a general nature to help you in your quest for emotional and spiritual well-being. In the event you use any of the information in this publication for yourself, the creators and the publisher assume no responsibility for your actions, and you agree to release the creators and the publisher and anyone and everyone from any and all liabilities.